Okay guys, welcome back to Heart Academy number 10, and on this one I'm going to review long division again and putting our answers in fraction form. So this is going to be the division part 2 video along with division practice worksheet. Worksheet number 2 has these problems that are on there. Alright, so here we go. Oh yeah, I know you guys are excited about this. So lots of people tend to freak out when they see large numbers because you try to look for this in the multiplication chart, and that does not always necessarily work. So I will show you the method that I did Friday in class, and that's not to look at the entire number at one time, meaning don't look at the entire 546, okay? You know you can break that down a little bit because I know lots of you guys try to figure out that if this is going to be on the multiplication chart or not, okay? And you look and you look and you look, Mrs. Hart, it only goes up to 30 again, and 546 is not on there, or I can't find it, etc., okay? So the easiest way to do this is to break it down to a smaller number. You know 7 is not going to go into 5, okay? 7 does not go into 5. Now, some of you are thinking, yes, it does, and you're thinking it'll go in one time. And that's not saying the same thing. 7 will not fit into 5. That's what we have to look at, not 5 into 7. If you think this goes in one time, you're looking at it backwards. Yeah, 5 will go into 7 one time, but that's not what we got here. What we got here, you have 7 going into 5. That's not going to work. I like to use zeros for my place value. Again, excuse the writing. You know it's very hard to do this with a mouse, but videos work. You guys understand. So now I can look at 7 goes into 57. How many times will 7 go into, 54? So again, you don't have to look at the entire 546. Just look at 54. This is much easier to look at under your multiplication chart. You go looking into your 7s column and try to get over to 54. 56, but that's too much, so I'm going to have to go with 49. So it will go 7 times, because obviously 7 times 7 is 49. So I'm going to take that 7 and bring it back over to my problem. 7 will go into 54 7 times, because, again, 7 times 7, 49. Okay? So remember, as we were practicing in the other division worksheet, the steps need to be written all the way out for long division and so that you can see how to change your answer into a fraction a whole lot easier. So these are the steps, again, that students tend to forget because it's so easy just to do this in a calculator, which you know we don't do in class. So once you figure out it goes into 7 times, multiply. 7 times 7, what did we say it was? 49. Subtract. These are the 2 steps students forget all the time. Multiply, subtract. Okay? So now I'm going to subtract 54 and 49, or subtract 49 from 54. So you have to borrow or use the count up method. I tend to like to count up. Okay? So I will go 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. I only used 5 digits to count up. So 54 minus 49 is 5. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring down the 6. So now I got 7 going to 56. How many times will 7 go into 56? Looking at the chart, 7 will go into 56. Look at that, an even amount of times. Oh, shucky ducky, I got a whole number because 7 times 8 is 56. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my 8 was up here again because 7 times 8 is 56. Then gets away. 7 times 8, 56. So remember that part of the steps. Multiply. 7 times 8, 8 times 7, 56. I now have 0, so I am done, right? So change your final answer into a fraction or a whole number in this case. So remember, 78 is the whole number part. 0 would be the numerator if you had anything left over, and then the denominator will be 7, the number that's outside of the house. So again, if you put this on your worksheet, I would accept it as correct. However, I tend to want you to get used to just writing the whole number. If you have no remainder, you really have no fraction, okay? So your correct answer would be 78. Let's go ahead and go over to the next one. Remember, you can always slow the video down, restart it. Give it a try your own first and then watch. Use this to the best of your ability and use it any way you want to try to get that practice in. Trust me, you guys will thank me later when you guys are all in like Ivy League colleges and whatnot. Just remember to send me a graduation invitation. All right, so now I'm going to look at 9. We'll go into 324. But again, break it down, okay? You know that 9 is not going to fit into 3. I put my 0 to save the place. Now I can look at 9 will go into 32. How many times will 9 go into 32? Not sure? Go ahead and look at your multiplication chart under the 9 and figure out how many times it will go into 32. 36 is too big. So my closest one is 27. So it's 3 times because 9 times 3 is 27. So I'm going to take that 3, put it above here, the 2. Don't forget to multiply. 9 times 3, we just discovered, is 27. So now we can subtract. Multiply, subtract. Multiply, subtract. Those are the steps. Okay, so now I have 32 minus 7. Again, you would have to borrow from the 2 or borrow from the 3, make this a 12, and make that a 2. Or you can use a count up method, basically using addition in order to figure out what your subtraction answer is. Start with 27. How many digits does it take to get to 32? 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 5. See how I did that? Again, start with 27, go up to 32 and count. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 5. Now I have everything I need in order to make my fraction answer, right? Remember, how many times it went in is your whole number. What's left over is your numerator. The number on the outside of the house is your denominator. So here we have 3 and 5/9. You can always just double check to see if the fraction part will reduce. I know this one is not going to reduce, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and check anyway, so you can go ahead and get used to checking too if you're not 100% sure. So remember, this goes back to the reducing fractions steps that we first did a couple of videos back, okay? So I'm going to look for a 5 and a 9 in the same row, okay? Remember, not using the 1 rows. There's no 5 here. There's no 5 here. There's no 5 here. Here's a 5, but no 9. So I can't use that. And if you notice now, you don't have any more 5s. So if you don't have any more 5s, you can't look at 9. So I know that that is going to be my lowest form for the fraction. That is already reduced. So final answer here, again, would be the 3 and 5/9. Sorry about the sloppy handwriting. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the next one. Feel free to pause, take notes, practice this one on your own. Hit pause, practice on your own, and then check with me to see if you got the correct answer. Okay, here we go. All right, 4, not going to go into 1. 0 to hold that place. 4 will go into 15. How many times? Not sure? Check your multiplication chart. 4, 15. 16 is too much. So I'm going to have to stick with 3 because 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so it will go in 3 times. Remember to multiply. 3 times 4, 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract, multiply and subtract. Okay, so here I have 15 minus 12. 12, 13, 14, 15, 3. But remember, you have an extra digit that you must bring down. Sometimes you don't have an extra digit, sometimes you do. So now I have to look at how many times 4 will go into 32. Okay, so look at your multiplication chart if you need to. 4 will go into 32, and that is an even number. So, because 4 times 8 is 32, so I'm going to take my 8 over. Okay, 4 times 8, remember to multiply, or 8 times 4, 32, and subtract. I have nothing left over. So, final answer, 38. Remember, if you don't have a remainder, you don't have a fraction. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and do next one. I hope you're doing okay with this. I got a feeling that you're actually doing pretty good. Proud of you. All right, so now 7 goes into 4. Not going to happen. 7 goes into 42. Take a look at our multiplication chart. Under 7, 42, 42. Well, look at that. Isn't that even? 7 goes into 42. Okay, 6 times. I'm going to take that 6 over, put it here. Remember to multiply. 7 times 6, 6 times 7 was 42. Subtract. 42 minus 42. Well, that's 0. But don't forget to bring down your 7. 7 will go into 7. Hope you don't need the chart to look for that one. A number will go into itself always one time. Multiply. 1 times 7 is 7. Subtract. 0. So this answer, 61. Remember, no fraction because you do not have a remainder. All right. Going on to the next one. All right, so now I have 7 goes into 420. Remember, it's only a little bit off from that one, huh? Okay, so 7 goes into 4, 0 times. 7 goes into 42. Let's go back and take a look at that again. 7 goes into 42. Remember, it was just like the last one we did, 6 times. 7 times 6 is 42. Multiplying. 0. Bring down your 0. That 0 is still extra, and it looks like you can't do anything with it, right? So we're just going to place it up here. A lot of times people forget to do that, all right? If you have to bring down a 0 and you still have nothing for it to go into, or 7 is not going to fit in that way, that extra 0 you brought down needs to be placed somewhere, okay? So bring it right up because you need something to hold this spot right here. So just bring that 0 right back up. So our answer here is 60, okay? If you remember, if you're not sure if you're correct, you can always look at the multiplication chart and find out. So if this is correct, then we should look at the multiplication chart like this. Okay? 7 times 60, right, should give us this. I'll do it down here. 60 times 7. 0. 7 times 6. 7 times 6, 42. 42. Look at that. I match. Therefore, you know your answer is correct, right? Because remember, multiplication is the opposite of division. Division is the opposite of multiplication, right? Last one. All right, 7 goes into 532. 7 goes into 5, 0. 7 goes into 53. 7, 53, too much. 7 times. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 7 is 49. Subtract. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. There's 4 left over. Bring down your 2. 7 goes into 42. All right. So now we have 7 goes into 42 evenly. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 6, 42. No remainder, no fraction. Answer, 76. All right, guys, I hope that helped out a lot. You can practice the rest of that sheet on your own. You can always bring it back to class, and I will check the answers for you. If you do these practice sheets, remember, I will actually give you extra hearts so you can earn some points towards science tricks that I have for you. Hope this helps. Enjoy.